I took this picture of Ho Chi Minh City. Just below me and my bicycle, the corrugated roof is all rusted out. The tarps over the windows, the laundry hangs over the river, the swampy land stalling development, the helicopter pad in the background, high on a skyscraper. At least a full day's travel up the Indonesian river, the Mahakam, this little newborn was simply suspended, hanging there in the doorway, wrapped up tight, really tight, out of the hot sun. Her parents welcomed us in, a humble home consisting of just a couple of rooms, welcoming my humble bicycle. Explore places by bicycle. You aren't behind a windshield. You take the path less traveled by. Locals recognize the effort to explore their lives. You see so much more than typical tourists. Bicyclers test the weather, walk the paths and side streets, take more time to connect. During every bike tour at some time, a moment of elation comes. Every time. Here in Laos, I looked up to see a tractor pulling a high wagon full. An extended family. I cropped the big picture down to these three faces. My wife wanted it in all black and white. That's the eyes that I noticed later. Interestingly, I found that kayaking can be an equal to a bicycle for wandering and wondering and snapping photos. For connecting with the place you're visiting. When you're on a bike or in a kayak, people let down their guard more quickly. The eyes connect. They invite you into their world more readily. For 3 years, we lived on the southeast side of Borneo. I walked our road from my Western world compound into their quite different world. Often, children show a slice of life that seems so much more down to earth and realistic and picturesque, and they're just as curious as I am. This boy watched and waited until a few tethered cows were sacrificed in a big Eid festival. A local read scripture and honored the sanctity of the moment as the knife met the cow's partially hidden throat. And everyone was there to watch, young and old alike. They said thank you for the food. Contrast that to the serenity here. Look at the light, the lines, and the connecting shapes. Your eye travels through the picture, making the scene memorable, with the camera lens available to help ink in the moment, to set up the storytelling for later. Kuala Lumpur. An architecture professor in Edinburgh said, "Keep looking up." I looked up, and I saw this huge apartment face full of busyness, of activity, of colors, of randomness, a vignette explosion. I hurriedly snapped one of my favorites, a snapshot of Southeast Asia. Cycling Bali's hidden paths was magical. This shot through the woods, through the leaves, captures busy conversation among the women. The priest focused on his duty, the lush green feeling all around, respect and honor of the moon. I felt very lucky to be a witness. Contrasts are great for stories, old and new, color versus black and white, slow and calm versus energized and engaged. They make us rethink our views and weigh what we perceive and what we subconsciously assume. What are these girls talking about on their cell phones? Nature can make us feel rather insignificant, even though our every choice has a consequence. That is why I ride, because every choice has a consequence. Riding puts us out there, not behind glass, not hidden without investment, without challenge. Riders want to engage the opportunity. Sometimes watching simple tasks, everyday tasks, can become a disproportionately important story. But then again, it is the telling of the story that intrigues us. We love the great storyteller who can weave the plot and help us notice the subtleties of the moment's color, movement, and flow. While I love my telephoto lens, this was taken with my iPod. Its wide angle was turned vertical, created the picture. Now imagine my 3 family members thinking, "We're going to ride in there?" Well, at least we have seats. Distortion is a bit like our perspectives, working for and against us. So too the Himalayas have magic. The vast depth is deceptive, the colors rich, the people carved out of long cultural conflicts between cultures contrasted to the monumental task of living in harmony with nature. Unique foods and textiles, and best of all, gentle invitations to join in. I confess a few weaknesses. I love disappearing pathways, windows, doorways, laundry on a line, people growing food, nature demonstrating her strengths, unusual angles, surprises, glimpses that don't appear in magazines, children, the disadvantage, and catching candids. So how do we weigh what we need? What do others need? The path to a sustainable, full life is not always what we imagine. It follows unusual turns and doesn't seem to be as strong or stable as we would like. What does it offer us that makes life worth celebrating? So as I pedal down the road, I look for stories that can be launched by a photo. This slide story is more a celebration of art that lies around us. Nuances of color, gentle suggestions of shape, and recognizing there are endless opportunities. A treasure hunt. As a teacher of limited financial resources, my wife quickly became used to my vacation plans. Let's go bicycle touring. Colorado, California, Canada. Our decision to live in Europe twice and Southeast Asia twice has led to a lot of pedaling and a lot of pictures. If a shot doesn't work out, that's okay. Looking for the shots helps me notice the cool stuff. To celebrate being in the moment, seeing the beauty, the diversity, the wonder that is all around us. A story starter for later on. So please, get on a bike,